Welcome to an episode of Founder in the Chair. Today I'm joined by a former project manager in drug research who worked with pharmaceutical giants like GSK, Roche and Amgen, but after stepping away from her career to prioritise her family, Reena used the time to redefine herself and follow a new path. She went on to create her own Ayurvedic tea brand, which you're going to see today, and we're going to be drinking it as well. She now shares her journey to inspire and empower other women to do the same. So I'm really excited to hear her story and welcome Reena today. Welcome, Reena.
Thank you so much. Reena, can I just say thank you for giving us this platform for us to, you're inspiring us by allowing us to share our stories. And I am actually really super excited to share mine on Found on the Chair.
Thank you. And we're very excited to hear it as well. I mean, like, you work for some big companies.
Yes.
What was it like to then say, okay, I'm going to leave? Because that's a big step, and the security, the money and everything else that goes with it.
It was actually quite easy.
Wow,
because,
okay.
Yeah, I was always very career-minded, wanted to work up the career ladder. I travelled a lot with work.
Okay.
But as soon as I had children,
Yeah.
it was actually really easy for me to say, do you know what? I want to give my time to my children.
Yeah.
With my husband traveling a lot,
Yeah.
I wanted to be present in their lives. And I think that's when I just realised that I just wanted to be a mum with my boys and enjoy the time with them.
And how many years ago was that?
That was 13 years ago.
And you've not worked for 13 years and you've been running your own business?
Yes, I've always had this entrepreneurship where I always wanted to be my own boss.
Okay.
And I tried different avenues because I'm quite creative. And I finally have found my niche that which has come very naturally, and I've thoroughly enjoyed doing this.
So you say your own niche, like, so these are Ayurvedic products. How is that your niche? Do you have like a history of it, a background in it?
Yes. So with Ayurvedic, it comes from generations.
Okay.
It started off with my naniji, who used to drink this tea after a long day's work. She used to make this tea for the whole family.
Yeah.
And I remember it used to be like a big thing when we would gather around as a family, have that time to just talk, be present, share how our day was, share our problems. And it was always over a cup of my nanny's tea.
Oh,
And
I
then-
love that.
And this is something that my mum used to drink as well.
Okay.
So I've seen her drink this after a long day's work, and it was her go-to. She knew that this was her safe space where she was just giving herself time, and it allowed her to kind of energize herself and be fresh for the next day. And I remember when I got married, the first thing my mum said was, take this tea with you because your life is going to change. And you don't realise how much it does change, because then it's your husband and his family and alongside with your own life. So I've always drunk this all my life. And
Since childhood.
absolutely. And I just felt that it was time to share it with everyone.
Oh, it's your nanny's legacy.
Yeah, it is.
It's so cute. She would be so proud of you, wouldn't she?
She would.
Your company's called Pure Yoga Face.
Yes.
And is there something else for the Ayurvedic part as well? Or is it just all under Pure Yoga Face?
Of course. So it's called Pure Yoga Face because, believe it or not, before I invested my time in herbal teas, I actually qualified as a face yoga instructor.
Okay.
And that was just because I wanted to give myself time. I wanted to care for myself. This is my own wellness journey about taking care of myself for my face, my body, and my mind.
Okay.
And as I started to share this journey with others, talking about face yoga, giving them sessions and classes, quite often people would say, what else are you doing to maintain the way you look? And I guess in today's generation, where we're all kind of faced with a lot of anxiety and stress, and it takes a lot of toll on us. And unfortunately, it shows on our faces and also how we feel. And that's why I decided to share my journey with the face yoga and my herbal teas, because they've both worked wonders for me. They also complement one another. And that's why I kept the name Pure Yoga Face.
So your skin looks amazing. Do you
Thank
mind me
you.
asking how old are you?
Well, if you ask my children, they would say I am 30, but I'm over 40 years old.
Okay, because your skin looks absolutely amazing, and obviously you're doing this the pure way. Obviously I run a beauty clinic, so there are things like Botox and fillers, but you're doing it naturally. And there's a lot of women I know who do want to do it the natural way now. So to come into your world and do face yoga, what would you teach them to begin with? Because everyone's like, they go and buy a roller or a gua sha and they try to do it at home. Why should they come to you and do it?
They should come to me because I think I'm trying to actually, I'm not even telling them to come to me. I want all women to learn how to do it themselves, to incorporate this into their own daily routines. So before you even invest in all these face yoga tools, I want to teach you how to do it with your hands.
Okay.
Right now everyone's talking about collagen supplements, collagen tablets, but I will teach you how to boost collagen on your face with your own hands.
Wow.
And I'm a true believer of keeping things very natural, authentic, and I want to kind of age gracefully. But also I love looking young. So face yoga is all about exercising your face. A lot of the time, I've been going to the gym for a long time. And
you can tell.
Oh, thank you.
Look great.
Oh, thank you so much. So do you. But there came a time where my body was feeling good. I was feeling good about myself, but I felt like my face wasn't reflecting my body.
Right.
And that's when I researched about face yoga. Just like we exercise our bodies, we should be exercising our faces.
So true.
Draining this lymphatic drainage. And I will teach you a few tips on what you should be doing. Just 2 minutes in front of the mirror, and you could release all these toxins that we accumulate on a day-to-day basis, and you will start looking a lot more fresher, toned, more sculpted, and you'll just feel a lot more energized.
And it's just going to take 2 minutes.
Absolutely.
Well, if we haven't got 2 minutes, honestly, and if we want to look young, and like you, of course, take us back to the moment in Pure Yoga Face, when it was just an idea, and was there a specific moment when you knew that you had to bring it to life?
Yes, there was.
Go on.
It was actually this time a year ago, when I was actually sitting in my kitchen after a long day of school runs, the gym, cooking, putting my kids to bed.
Yeah.
And then finally I got to unwind with my mum's herbal tea.
Right.
It was an evening ritual that's been passed down through generations.
Yeah.
And as I drank this cup of tea, in that moment, I realised, what would I do? How would I cope without this? And then I wondered, how are others coping that required this same kind of support? And that is when I realised that Pure Yoga Face had to exist as an invitation for others to reclaim their time back, for them to put themselves first, and also to discover their own daily rituals which worked for them. It was about us, about slowing down, and about giving us time for ourselves.
I love that, because it just came from a ritual that you've been doing forever.
Yes.
And I get that. So a lot of people say to me, Reena, do you meditate? And I say I don't meditate. But then a friend of mine told me that because I have this thing in the morning where I'll get my tea, and it's got to be in my Spider-Man mug. Don't even ask me what's in a Spider-Man mug. It just tastes different in there. I'm not a fan of Spider-Man or anything.
You have that power.
Yeah, it's just, and I just sit there quietly in the morning. And she said, well, that's your meditation. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's your time that your nanny's been doing, your mum's done, now you do it. And obviously you'll probably pass that on as well. And it's so important to have that one ritual, and then you've got your special tea.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about your products and what are their benefits?
Of course. So my products have been inspired by Ayurvedic wisdom through generations. So my Ayurvedic herbal blend has been made to calm the mind.
Right.
It helps to support better sleep.
Okay.
And it promotes a better well-being. People have told me that they feel a lot more relaxed after drinking this.
Okay.
And my favorite tea, my favorite blend is my Menopause Ease tea.
Is that what this is in this
Yes,
mug?
it is. And
Okay.
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to have a bit of it now.
And I'm going to join you. And yes, do you know what? I am biased, Veena. And the reason being is because it's actually helped me during my perimenopause symptoms, such
You're
as...
perimenopausal?
Yes,
Okay.
I have been feeling
so
it.
Nice.
I'm feeling hot flushes, mood swings when I've wanted to snap at my children and my husband. And I've been feeling bloatedness, and it's also been just balancing my hormones. So this has just worked wonders for me.
What is in here? Because it tastes a little bit sweet as well.
Yes, so the sweetness will be the fennel seeds and the hint of cinnamon. But the most powerful ingredient in here is called shatavari.
Okay.
And it's an ancient powder women used to use before HRT and all these medicines came along, just to balance their hormones.
Wow.
Because menopause has been around forever.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just come along just now. So it balances our hormones in the most natural way. And I'm not going to be using any kind of drugs to balance this. This tea has worked wonders. And as an Asian woman, I feel like this is such a crucial stage in our life. And not many people talk about it. Even though we're in the 20th century, we're not talking about it enough.
Yeah.
So I want to come forward, empower women, share my story, and shout out aloud and most really passionately to say, guys, this has really worked for me, honestly. And I want to support you guys, whether you're entering this journey or already through transition of menopause. This has worked, and I want you guys to give this a go, because like I said, it's done wonders for me. And Veena, just secretly between you and I, my husband actually occasionally has a cup of this because he actually loves the taste.
The taste is actually so good.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I mean, because I'll be honest, I've tried some herbal teas that are supposed to help my menopausal symptoms, and either they've got no taste, or I'll be honest, I don't like the smell.
Okay.
The smell puts me off sometimes, and then I just don't go back to it. So this is actually, it's got a good taste.
It has. I mean, it's got two different ingredients, licorice root and rose petals. And believe it or not, both of them are cooling agents.
Licorice, okay.
Yeah. So do you know when you're getting that hot flush, or in that moment you're like, oh my gosh, this gives you that cooling sensation, and it just eliminates that from you. So this is my go-to drink every single day, or just before I was going to take this seat, I had to have a cup of this because I didn't want to be sweat and all wet in front of the camera.
And how often does someone drink this?
So this tea you can drink as often as you like.
Okay.
And as many times as you want. There's no restrictions because it's all natural.
Yeah,
There's no side effects. It's natural, just like any other herbal tea.
Yeah.
Enjoy it as much as you want.
Okay, I shall be taking a pack off you before you go home today. So your brand, it's called Pure Yoga Face. What's the connection between yoga for your face and tea, your herbal teas?
So the connection between the two is that it's part of my wellness journey.
Okay.
And that is how it's all started. You know, I think before you even think about an idea, I just was on this path where I was feeling great about myself. The tea calmed my symptoms, and the face yoga, do you know what? In front of the mirror, I was starting to feel a bit more confident. Because, you know, sometimes, unfortunately, in today's world, people are investing in very expensive creams or expensive makeup.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I don't wear makeup. I'm wearing makeup today.
Yeah.
But I also, on a daily basis, I don't really wear makeup. And I wanted to feel confident within myself without makeup. And that's how face yoga came along. And with my herbal tea, with going down the natural holistic route, it was just my own wellness journey which worked, and I decided to share it with the world. Because I think in today's generation, I think those days have gone where, it's going to be a secret because I just want it to work for me.
Yeah.
No,
Share it.
I am a firm believer of empowering women.
Yeah.
If it works for me, Veena, I want it to work for you. So that's why I decided to share my journey, share what's worked for me, and hopefully I'm empowering a lot of women and a lot of people today, because my Ayurvedic herbal blend tea works for men.
So tell me, to bring a tea to market, so let's hear it from a founder, is it easy? What's the process to bring a product like this to the market? What did you have to do, the research-wise, cost-wise? So if there's somebody listening right now and they've got a product they want to bring to market, what tips would you give them? What have been your learnings?
I think the most important thing is that you have to follow your heart. I think a great idea is only successful if it comes from being true and honest with yourself. So that's my number one advice. And number two, I guess when it comes to legal and regulations, you have to adhere to those.
Yeah.
You know, you have to get your food and safety regulations approved with the local council. There has to be a certain specific labeling that you have to adhere to. And then you get all excited and you create yourself this website and Instagram and you're saying, please guys, follow me.
Buy my tea.
Exactly. And then I think the third thing is networking.
Networking,
and I think just kind of putting yourself out there as I am today. I hope that by me sharing my story, I'm able to inspire a lot of women, inspire a lot of people to, do you know what? I could have quite easily just lived this life of, coffees and teas with my friends or lunches and just pick up and drop offs. But do you know what? I want to do more. I want to give back as well. You know, this is something my mum did religiously. I also want to do my mum proud. My mum is not around anymore, but I know she's looking down at me, and I'm doing it for her because I'm like, Mum, look, this is coming to life.
Oh, so it's your nanny and your mum's legacy.
Yes.
Love that. I really do. Reena, so you brought the products to market. You've shown up, Instagram and everything else we have to do, the website, logos. Was there any point in that journey that you thought, I can't do it? Did you ever wake up some days and think, oh, this is really hard?
Absolutely. If I said no, I would not be normal. I would not be a human being. Absolutely. Especially when you're hustling on your own. Yeah. You know, when you don't. Yes, I've got my husband. I have my kids who are now have this entrepreneurships in their blood. I can feel it when they talk to me. Yeah. But when you're on your own and you're trying to make this not this business, because I want to just empower people. Yeah. So it's been difficult at times, but then I look at the end goal of creating this amazing community where we come together and we inspire and empower everyone, and that's what keeps me going. So I know that it's not just a short-term goal, it's a long-term goal, because if it's helping me today, I know it's going to continue to help through generations and decades to come. So if you're Reena's having a bad morning, really doesn't feel like showing up on social media, for example, and she really needed to that day, do you have a mantra or do you have something that you will do that is going to make you show up? Absolutely. I practice yoga as well as meditation. Okay. And just like you said, you have your cup in your Spider-Man cup. You have your tea in your Spider-Man cup. Yeah. I do the same. So I take 10 minutes out in the morning just for myself and I meditate. Okay. And in that process, it's all about being grateful. I am grateful every single day for what I have and where I am. And just being healthy. And then I also use it as a release to say, this is how I'm feeling, and I need it to be released because I want my day ahead to be positive, happy, and also productive. Yeah. Okay, so yours is meditation, your tea. Okay, and how do you then measure your success? So, Reena, could I read something to you? Go on. Okay, so, dear Reena, I would like to thank you for sharing your tea, as this has truly helped me unwind after a long, demanding day. It feels like an evening hug in a cup. So this is just, I know. I mean, like, evening hug. I know. I was extremely touched by that. So this is just feedback from one of the customers who has religiously drunk my tea. Okay. And so success to me is about getting feedback from people. When people tell me that that something I have shared with them has helped them, it means everything to me. It's priceless. So for me, success is knowing that I've made a positive difference in someone's life. Yeah. And with that, I'm really hoping to build a community, grow a space where we can all come together, empower one another, be seen, be heard, and also take this time out for yourselves, because we're living in a really busy world today.
Yeah, I love that. It's great feedback.
I know, I absolutely love that. I keep this feedback with me all the time.
That's brilliant. It's brilliant. And I love the fact that it's so important for you to make an impact in people's lives. Is there anything else that you would like to say or ask today from the viewers?
Well, I think the first thing I want to ask, I know that you yourself have been through this menopause journey, and I've heard you talk on the podcast with quite a few questions asked. Why don't you tell me a bit more about your journey, and how is it that you've kind of managed it and coped with your symptoms?
Well, when it first started at 46, I'm now 53, it was, at that time, it wasn't really talked about. So I didn't even know that it was menopause. So I went to the doctors and they told me that I was stressed, and they prescribed me some depression tablets. And I was like, I don't feel it. I don't want them. So I didn't take them. 3 months later, I went back again, because now I'm getting the hot flushes, the mood swings. Like, my mood swings were bad. Like, I literally felt sorry for the people around me. And then that time I got a female doctor, actually. She said, oh, you know what, let's test you for perimenopause.
Yeah.
That was then confirmed. And finally, it was like, oh, I'm so glad it's something I can now say, right, it's perimenopause. They're not just putting it down to stress, or they don't know what's going on. So then I started reading about it. And then I asked my mum, and she just went, well, yeah, it happened. It was like, yeah, what are you complaining about? It just happens. It's like one of those things you just have to get through. And I'm like, oh my God, but I'm not coping very well with this. And the hot flushes at night was so bad. Like, I then couldn't function during the day because I haven't slept. My eczema flared up. So I've always suffered from eczema, but it went on to another level, to the point I went on steroids as well.
Wow.
So not only was I having that, I was having the hot flushes, having all these other menopausal symptoms like brain fog. My joints were aching, and my hair started falling out.
Right, yes.
All of this is happening, and then eventually I did go on HRT.
Okay.
I was on HRT for about 4 years, and then eventually I was like, I'll be honest, what happened once was the patch just started burning a hole in my leg.
Oh,
and
God.
it's really weird, because I'd been absolutely fine with them, and then all of a sudden my body was like, I don't like this anymore.
Yeah.
And I started getting allergic reactions to them. Then I tried a different form of HRT. That didn't work for me either. Then I thought, right, okay, I'm just going to go cold turkey, and I'm going to have nothing. So that was now 2 years ago. And I'm actually okay. I've changed my diet a little bit. I'm a little bit more mindful of what I put into my body, because face yoga would probably be a great thing for me, because I wake up with puffy eyes, dry eyes, and my face is quite puffy in the mornings. So I now lymphatically drain my face. I'm probably not an expert at it, and I probably could do it better. But all these little things I've now implemented, because I don't have HRT to fall back on now. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was like magic. It's all of a sudden, it's like all my symptoms were just, well, not straight away, but over time, they started going away. And then I had to teach my body, well, okay, you're not going to have HRT anymore. This is what we're going to do. I would say I'm really glad there's more information about it now. I wish there was 7 years ago. But I've learned a lot over time. And that's why I talk about it now as well, because my mum, bless her, she couldn't give me a lot of knowledge on it, really, because they just flew through it, or they just ignored it, or they weren't allowed to say, oh, this is happening to me, that's because they were just told to get on with it.
Yes, you are absolutely right. I remember when I was getting married, and my mother-in-law, in all our events, she would just do this. And I was thinking, why are you fanning yourself? We are in a hotel with AC. Like, why are you getting so hot? Because I did not know what she was going through. And now it kind of like touches my heart, because this was 7 years ago for your journey. And you've been on HRT for 4 years. Whereas if you had known about this tea, this would have been a natural way for you to manage your, your symptoms, because this menopause journey is a 10-year transition. So I know they say better now than later, but yes, I'm so glad that I'm able to now bring forward this tea, and hopefully it of benefits a lot of women
Yeah.
to
No,
feel a lot
absolutely.
better.
And I will be sharing this on my page.
I would
tell,
yes,
tell
please.
people, try it out. So just before we go, your packaging and everything, how
Yes.
did you decide on your packaging? Again, if someone's listening and they want to bring something out, how did you source it, package it? Do you do it all yourself?
Yes,
you?
I have
Okay.
done everything, even just designing my website, the logo, the packaging, the banners. Everything is myself.
Okay.
So that's when I said, just working on your own, you have to keep yourself motivated.
Okay.
However, I think the most important thing for me before the packaging was making sure that the tea worked.
And you blend it all yourself?
Yes, blend it all
all the
myself.
ingredients, all of that. Wow.
Everything is natural. But like I said, for me, it's. Do you know when they say, I'm a firm believer on if you're healthy on the inside, you're healthy on the outside.
Yes.
Same goes with my product.
Yeah.
If my product is working, the actual tea is benefiting everyone.
Yeah.
Now that is a huge tick, because the feedback I'm getting is just breathtaking.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to actually be working on my packaging.
Okay.
I know a lot of people will be like, oh my God, is that what you've done? But I just wanted to get this tea out there. So I didn't care what the packaging looked like.
Yeah.
Because I knew that inside the contents of the packaging was going to work.
Yeah.
And now I'm at this phase of, right, let's snazz this up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, but otherwise I did it myself in terms of the colours. I thought something a bit bright, eye attracting, and like I said, it just works.
I like that you've just said that you just needed to get it out there, because sometimes some people just don't start because they're trying to get it perfect.
Yeah.
Whereas with you, it's the product that's inside.
Yes.
And you show up on social media, I've seen you, and you're talking about it, you're doing pop-ups, and that's what's most important. And you're showing, today you've showed up to share the story, because to know that from your nanny to your mum to you, that's a legacy in itself, and it's worked for generations.
Yeah, it truly has. Actually, it's quite touching, maybe just a little bit emotional as well, because I think maybe I would have had my mum on this chair and then she would have been talking about the ingredients. I have to say, it's been an inspiring journey for myself as well.
Yeah.
And I'm sat here quite confidently today, because I know my mum would be overly proud of me. And I hope I continue to, make a difference in everyone's life. And like I said, just building this community where you all come together, I can, and we confidently admit, I'm going through menopause or perimenopause, there's nothing to hide.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what? Let's be free, let's be stress free, and let's be comfortable and confident in ourselves.
Thank you. And how do we buy your tea?
So like I said, I have a website, and so you can purchase it on my website. And you can also purchase it via Instagram. It will take you straight to the product.
Okay.
Direct you straight to my website.
And what's your website, your handles for Instagram and your website?
Is the name. So it's www.pureyogaface.com.
Perfect. And Instagram is?
Pure Yoga Face.
Perfect. Brilliant. Nice and easy. Thank you, Reena.
Oh, thank
you so much. Thank you so much for listening and watching from wherever you are. And please don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, and share. Thank you.